Pour hydrogen peroxide onto a window track covered in black mold, and the reaction begins almost immediately. Tiny bubbles appear around the darkest spots. The liquid turns gray. Black material starts bleeding into the white foam, and after one wipe, part of the track looks dramatically cleaner. It is exactly the kind of transformation that makes peroxide appear to be a perfect mold killer. But watch the corner beside the glass. The flat surface is turning white while that narrow seam remains black, and when the track dries, several dots begin to reappear. So, did the peroxide actually remove the mold, bleach the stain, or only clean the part we could reach? To find out, we are using a neglected vinyl window with the same dark growth running across both sides of its lower track. One half will receive ordinary 3% household hydrogen peroxide. The other half will be cleaned with water and a small amount of dish detergent. Both sections will get the same contact time, the same brush, and the same number of wipes. Then we will inspect the track again after it is completely dry. Before anything touches it, look at what created this mess. Every cold night, warm indoor air meets the cooler glass. Water condenses, runs downward, and settles inside the track. Dust, pollen, skin particles, and debris collect there too. That gives mold both moisture and material to grow on. The black spots are the visible result, but the window has been building this tiny damp habitat for weeks. And black mold is only a description of color. Many molds can appear black, dark green, or brown. You cannot identify the species or judge how dangerous it is just by looking at it. The useful question is not what frightening name belongs to every dot. The useful question is why fungal growth is surviving beside this window and how far the moisture problem extends. This demonstration is only for a small patch on a hard, cleanable track. If mold covers a large area, follows flooding or a serious leak, disappears behind drywall or wooden trim, or keeps returning with a strong, musty odor, stop treating it as a cosmetic cleaning job. The hidden wet material matters more than the visible line. For a small area, ventilate the room and keep children and pets away. Wear gloves, eye protection, and at least an N95 respirator before disturbing the growth. Do not attack dry mold with a stiff brush or blast it with compressed air. That can scatter contaminated dust and spores around the room. We begin by lifting loose debris with damp disposable towels, folding the dirty surface inward before each pass. Now comes the peroxide. This is the familiar 3% solution from an opaque brown bottle, not concentrated industrial or so-called food-grade peroxide. We first test one hidden spot because peroxide can lighten dyes, alter painted finishes, affect some sealants, and react with certain metals. The window manufacturer's care instructions still outrank any cleaning trick. Instead of flooding the entire frame, we place a controlled amount onto the marked test section. Window tracks often contain drain openings, screws, seals, and gaps leading beneath the frame. Pouring half a bottle may send dirty liquid into places that cannot be wiped or dried. The dramatic pour is satisfying. Controlled wetting is smarter. Within seconds, the bubbles arrive. This is hydrogen peroxide breaking down and releasing oxygen. Mold cells, enzymes, dirt, and metal contamination can all accelerate that decomposition. The fizz proves the peroxide is reacting with something. It does not identify that substance, measure how much mold is alive, or confirm that every hidden spore has been destroyed. After the surface stays wet briefly, we agitate it with a small nylon brush. The foam turns charcoal gray as loosened residue enters the liquid. This is the first moment when a large amount of visible material actually leaves the track. Peroxide may oxidize cellular components and lighten some pigments, but the brush and towel are physically carrying the growth away. The first result looks spectacular. The peroxide side has changed from spotted black to bright white, and the used towel is nearly gray. But while the vinyl is still wet, reflected light hides pale stains and remaining residue. This is why a wet before and after can exaggerate the result. We are not calling it clean until it has been rinsed, dried, and examined in direct light. Now we treat the second section with diluted dish detergent and water. There is almost no theatrical foam. It looks far less powerful. Yet the detergent surrounds greasy dust, the brush breaks material away from the hard surface, and the towel removes it. After 2 careful passes, the black film is lifting here too. This less exciting section exposes the real standard for mold cleanup. On a hard, non-porous surface, visible growth must be physically removed, and the surface must be dried completely. Killing alone is not enough. Dead mold fragments can still remain allergenic, and a dark stain can survive even when organisms have been damaged. A clean-looking color and a clean surface are not always the same thing. 30 minutes later, the comparison changes. The peroxide side is slightly brighter, especially where old staining had penetrated microscopic scratches. The detergent side is almost as clean, although two gray shadows remain. Under a flashlight, both sides still contain black material inside one deep corner that neither liquid reached. That corner is the most important result in the experiment. Peroxide did not travel intelligently along the colony and hunt down every hidden branch. It reacted where it made contact, then began decomposing into water and oxygen. Dirt consumed some of it. Geometry blocked some of it. And any liquid left trapped beneath the track could add the very moisture this problem depends on. But this window is not finished yet. Open the sash and inspect the drainage or weep holes. If they are blocked with dirt, water cannot escape. Check the gasket, caulk, and surrounding trim for gaps, softness, swelling, or peeling paint. Mold on vinyl may wipe away. Mold inside wet wood, drywall, insulation, or a failed seal is a different problem. Porous material can hold growth beyond the reach of surface cleaning and may need repair or replacement. Then measure the room rather than guessing. If humidity stays high and the glass remains cold, condensation will rebuild the same habitat. A basic humidity meter can reveal the pattern. Exhaust moisture while cooking and showering. Use ventilation or a dehumidifier when needed. Dry the track whenever condensation appears, and correct leaks instead of repeatedly soaking their symptoms. Never combine hydrogen peroxide with bleach, ammonia, vinegar, or another cleaner. Do not assume two useful products become more useful when mixed. Unexpected reactions, irritating vapors, splashes, and damaged surfaces can turn a small cleanup into a dangerous experiment. Use one product at a time. Follow its label, rinse when appropriate, and store peroxide in its original opaque container. So what happened when hydrogen peroxide met the black growth? It reacted quickly, released oxygen, loosened some dirty residue, and made part of the track look brighter. On this hard surface, it helped the cleaning process. What it did not do was prove that every black spot was a specific toxic species, guarantee that hidden growth was gone, or solve the condensation feeding it. The most dramatic moment was the bubbling. The most important moment came later, when the dry track exposed the untouched corner. Peroxide can be one tool for a small, compatible surface, but removal and moisture control decide whether the result lasts. Clean the material away, dry every channel, open the drainage path, reduce the condensation. Otherwise, the window may look rescued today, while the next black dots are already preparing to return again.